Yeehaw! Here we go, here we go, here we go. It's the man cave. You all know it's the man cave. You watched us for a while. We got you regular now, man. You got your regular coffee and your decaf coffee. People are going, why aren't you drinking decaf at this point? This is the week of March 24th. This is the news of the week. And man, was this a slow news week. You know it's a slow news week when the Pope has to go out and wash people's feet to make the news. And it's the front line story everywhere. I mean everywhere. You look on the news today, you look in the papers, Pope washes the feet. You turn on the TV, Pope washed the feet of prisoners. Of prisoners. I'm like, cool. You know, okay, somebody went out and washed the feet of prisoners. How was that a big deal? What? The Italian prison's so gosh darn bad, so gosh darn dirty that he's actually doing a good service? Guy in Connecticut went on a shooting rampage. If you want his name, go read the news. What is it with people? Everybody's got to say his name like 24 times in the newscast. Right? Like we really don't know who the guy is. How many guys have gone around Newtown, Connecticut, shooting the place up? I can't imagine it's been that many, that we actually have to name the guy. Back in the neighborhood I'm from, you want to see that? No. Won't see that at all. We had our stories, though. Man, I remember back in 1990, guy came to the school, shot it up. Something awful. Something awful, man. We have the stories like that. We can go around the whole neighborhood talking like that. We could reminisce for hours on people getting shot. Happened every goddamn day. Man, in 1990, you have to differentiate between the guy who shot up the football game, the guy who shot up the basketball game, the guy who shot up the girls' locker room because he couldn't get a date. Man, some of these guys, we didn't even know their names. They haven't been caught to this day. You know why that is? Because the cops would come around the school. You know anything about the shooting, huh? No. No, police. That was. No. You didn't want to know. You didn't want to know the guy. Man, you ran on the guy. You were next. We got some smart brains on our heads, man. We knew better than that. It happened all the time. I'd like to have some of these idiots in Maine, right? Now there's people on the Twitter in Maine, they're like making a big deal out of this. We gotta stop all guns. We gotta stop all guns. Some guy even suggested we needed to put metal detectors in the school in Maine. Now, I don't have a kid in high school yet. Thank God. I don't. There's a lot of people saying, you got kids? Crap. The fact that you procreate? Come on. But I don't have a kid in high school yet. Thank God. So if you had to go to high school, at a high school like I went to, I'll feel sorry for him. I do. I mean, we had the fence up. We had the barbed wire. You couldn't get into that school without going through at least 3 people on a checkpoint. Man, they put up a fence and barbed wire around one of our schools. I'm thinking to myself, yep, that's the beginning of the end right there. You're going to have a kid sitting there in English class, and he's going to be looking outside, and he's going to be going, I could get used to that. Wait, we got to turn our schools into prisons so our kids are safe? Come on, people. We didn't do this in the 1980s. Shit, man. Guy would come across the school, shoot the school up, boom, 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 boom. They go back to their business the next day like it was nothing. It's like, me and Charles coming around here shooting the place up. Come on. But anyways, I digress. Newton kid, right? Newton kid. Shot the school up. You got it. They went and released what they found in the kid's home. And it wasn't a surprise to everyone. Except me, because I wasn't surprised at all. I'm like, the only thing that I was actually surprised at, there wasn't an RPG listed. I mean, the guy was living like he was freaking part of Al-Queda or something. He had assault rifles, he had handguns, he had, I think it was 7 different types of ammunition. And they're asking now, was the mother afraid of the kid? He even had a gift card to the local gun shop. She bought him a gift card for Christmas for the local gun shop. so he could get another gun. I'm like, with all those guns around the house, the only thing the bitch was afraid of was if she slapped the kid, the government would come and take her kid away. I mean, let's be honest. She was. I mean, like, discipline of a kid nowadays. If you even look at your kid wrong, government comes and takes your kid away. Man, my days, and I don't advocate this, mind you. I ain't for smacking a kid around, but I mean, if your kid is talking about shooting up a school, maybe it's just a good idea to smack him upside the head and say, "That's wrong, boy. That's wrong. We don't do that. You're going to go shooting up anything. You go shooting up the ATF office." I mean, seriously. Seriously. Got this Kelly Bouchard bitch, right? From the Portland Press Herald. Like, that makes her anything special. I mean, at least the Bangor Daily News, they make the news. They don't write the news, they make the news. Portland Press Herald. So, she's trying to figure out what's going on at the Department of Health and Human Services, and she has to write an op-ed piece how they're not giving her information. But what is it with you people bitching you can't do your job when dealing with DHHS? Department of Health and Hitler Services. Seriously, trying to get information out of these people is like trying to get Al Capone to tell you where he buried the bodies. It ain't happening. She bitches about of these things. She filed a Freedom of Information Access pass. Bullshit paperwork. I'm telling you something. In 2008, you had federal auditors calling C-SPAN saying, "I can't do my job up there. I know something's going wrong." The only reason I was watching C-SPAN Washington Journal way back then was because even back then, Joe Scarborough, he was a little dry. He hasn't gotten any better either. She published her piece, unlike the Bangor Daily News, on foster care. I mean, of all things, that they're being tight-lipped about foster care. And they're having problems. They're having to ask the government for more money because the foster care kicked up the last couple of months. They're out of money. And I'm like, well, if you have to ask if you have to ask our government for money, little bit of advice, don't be pissing off the chick reporter. Just a little bit of advice up there, Miss Mary Mayhew. Miss, I can't do anything right. They did piss off the reporter. If you want money, freaking act like it. Do it right. Do it like those people on the late night TV. Hi. Billy has no shoes. We would like to give Billy shoes, but we have no money. We need you to donate so Billy can have some shoes. Otherwise, he's going to be walking around West Virginia without shoes. And who wants that? Now, you guys know if you're regulars, Australia had this problem. And they did a little whoopsie. They had a baby machine, man. They had a baby factory going on in their Department of Health and Human Services. As we'll call it Hitler Services, because that's what it is. You don't kiss their ass, you ain't getting any services. That's the God's honest truth right there. Anyone who ever worked with them will tell you the same goddamn thing. Health and Hitler Services. They had a baby factory going on, especially in the 1970s. Didn't have abortion, so friggin' when a girl went into prison, it was spread your legs. There it goes. Here you go, folks. Here's your baby. Next. I mean, that's how it is. I was watching the BBC do a whole piece on this. They were talking to the social worker who used to do this thing, and she's like, "God, I hate my life now." And I'm like, "Yeah, and I'll bet when you were 20, You were like, I'm just going to do this to help people. That's the thing with social workers. When they're 20, they're cute and cuddly. When they're 30, they're fat, lazy, and absolutely someone you don't want to deal with. Welcome to Human Services. I hate my life. Say something to piss me off so I can tell you no and go on to the next. Human Services these days are full of fat, lazy social workers. They don't want to do anything. They don't want you to even look at them. They'd be happy to sit behind their desk throwing paperwork around. I mean, that's their job. That's their job. You fill out the forms, they look at the form, try to figure out why they should deny you, and once they deny you, they feel bad about it. They're like, well, I wish I could help you, I do, but I can't. Next! So Australia has this baby factory going on. And they took babies from good, healthy mothers, kicked them over to like some couple who paid a lot of money, took their kickbacks, and now they're sorry for it. So they're having to pay the mothers for all the mental anguish, all of the counseling. And I'm like, how do you counsel a person like that? That was another thing. My baby was stolen from me. Really? It almost sounds like something a crazy person would tell a psychiatrist. I mean, could you imagine you're in a psychologist's office, right? You sit down on the big old huge couch. He says, well, what seems to be the trouble? Government stole my baby. Excuse me? Government stole my baby. What's wrong with you? You deaf? I'm sorry about that. How does that make you feel? How do you think that makes me feel? I'm angry about it. Well, do you think you have a right to be angry about it? How do you counsel somebody who's gone through that? So I watched the whole thing, and then this Bouchard article came out, and I noticed some very similarities. To make a long story short, there were over 4,000 people who lost their kids to offenses that you can lose your kid for in the state of Maine. I'm thinking to myself, do we even have 4,000 places in the Maine state jail? It's got to be full of child abusers now. You gotta love it. It's not the Maine State Prison anymore. It's the Maine State House of Correcting Child Abuse. 4,000 people? Are you kidding me? Are you shitting me? 4,000 people abusing their kids in my state. I want to know who these people are. I want to know what this abuse is. I'm wondering, number one, are they in my neighborhood? And number two, is the abuse funny? Because if the abuse ain't funny, I want their ass down to the state prison. If the abuse is funny, okay, I can live with that. And by funny, I mean the funny, ha-ha, stupid freaking social worker thing. Like the girl who took her kid out of school to go to the amusement park funny. Right? Social worker has a problem with it. She takes her kid out of the school. Out of the middle school. She goes to Funtown for the day. So to reward her kid for getting straight A's on the report card. Kid's got straight A's, didn't get a B. I could see the worker's problem if the kid got a B. It'd be like, parent lady, man, you gotta understand these straight A's. They're growing trees. The kid has to work, study. You can't be taking your kid out of school to go to Funtown. You got a B. They want to change grading systems now. And I mean, I've done this bit before, but it's still funny. They want to change the grading systems. They want to change it to P and N. Because, quote, the grading system, the way it is now, hurts kids' self-esteem and causes parents to be overbearing and abusive. You think changing it to N and P is going to change? You think little Johnny's going to walk home to his dad? He's going to be like, Dad, I got my report card. His dad will be like this. His dad will be, Johnny, right here. I got my Jim Beam in hand. Bring it here. Bring it here, boy. Let me look at that thing. Let's see. You got, what are these grades? You got a P in English. A P, what the fuck is P? P is passing. Passing? What the fuck are you playing football for in English class, boy? You go in there right now. You study your English until you get an A. I didn't get no P when I had English back then. I can't speak it now. It speaks like I'm from West Virginia, but I did not get no freaking P. Kid for drinking. When we legalize marijuana, you're going to have people losing their kids because you're smoking marijuana. I'm surprised people ain't losing their kids for smoking tobacco. I mean, seriously, you can't smoke it anywhere in the state anymore. You can't smoke it in a restaurant. Can't smoke it in a public building. You can't smoke it near a hospital. You can't smoke it in your goddamn car. You live in a HUD housing unit, can't smoke it there. Can't smoke it in your own house. Can't smoke anywhere nowadays. It's like, what the hell? We want to pass marijuana. Where the frick did you smoke marijuana? Can't smoke tobacco. You certainly as hell can't smoke marijuana. That was a big thing now. Somebody put out, and by somebody, Representative Russell, put out the idea of legalizing marijuana in the state of Maine. I'm all for it. If people want to smoke their wacky tobacco, I ain't got a problem with it. But in legalizing marijuana, there inevitably comes two problems. First of all, I got to tax it. Right? And the people who are behind legalizing the marijuana got pissy when you say taxing it. I'll give you a classic example. My ex-wife. I tweeted out there, I said, you know, I'm happy that they're going to be passing marijuana because now my ex-wife will be paying her fair share. I love that line, by the way. Thank you, God and Democrats, for giving me paying your fair share. Because any group you want to piss off, just turn it into a tax issue. I think there should be gay marriage. Why should heterosexuals being the only ones being taxed? Gay people should pay their fair share too. I'm happy for the pot smokers to be able to smoke marijuana legally because they can pay their fair share. I said this one today too. This one's radical. This one got me a few negative tweets. People who are in a union, a labor union, are paying labor dues, which are turned around to pay advertisement for candidates that the people in the labor union may not like. I've got the solution for this. We should tax labor union dues. It'd be wonderful. We should be doing it. Why aren't we doing it? It's a steady source of income right there, man, taxing labor union dues. After all, people in a labor union, they should want to pay their fair share. Why not? The people that their labor union supporting says it all the time. I mean, those people, they should be paying their fair share. Madagascar's got a new program. Have you heard of this? Have you heard of this? They'll want you to come down to Madagascar and go ocean fishing. They'll even provide you with the bait. Granted, your bait's going to be locusts. Madagascar got hit with a locust storm. And I'm like, this is my first question. Egypt has a locust storm. It goes to Israel. That I can see. I can totally see that. You have a locust storm in Egypt. It goes to Israel. Okay. Right? How does a freaking locust swarm get to Madagascar? Madagascar, it's an island. It's in the middle of the freaking Indian Ocean. And anywhere not close to land. I can just imagine those locusts right now. They're out there, they're going, bzzz. Oh shit, we just left the land. We gotta fly forever now, guys. Bzzz. Madagascar got a locust storm. How the fuck do you get a locust storm way out there? They're expecting it's going to be 5 to 10 years before they can deal with the problem. Half the island's going to get killed by it. I'm like, are you shitting, man? We got all these wonderful things now. Kill little bugs off. You know, and I grew up near oranges and orchards and strawberry fields and just anything else that fucking grew. Right? So I know some of the fun shit they have out there. They got shit that they'll spray across the oranges. Eat the freaking paint off of your car. It will. It'll eat the paint off of your car, but it's safe to eat. I'm like, you know, you're sitting out there, you're spraying the freaking oranges. I have a car that now looks like it just came out of like Timbuktu. And you're telling me them oranges are shit safe to eat? Don't give me that. Don't give me that. I don't know better. You can eat the paint off my car. I can just imagine what it's doing to my stomach. So they do. They have all these wonderful pesticides that will cause all kinds of God-known side effects, but it's Madagascar. Madagascar, people. How many people live in Madagascar? Are we really worried about this? Half the island's going to die anyways. You leave the locust alone, half the island's going to die. Gives new meaning to the term like whole foods, organic foods. You really want to be there when your organic food is locusts? So somehow these things got transplanted. And the only thing that I thought in my head, I'm like, okay, I know my Bible, I know my Koran, I know my Torah. I know when God gets pissed at someone, he sends locusts. It's in the Bible. He got pissed at the Pharaoh. He sent locusts. He got pissed at the Israelites. He sent locusts. In the future, he's going to get pissed at the Moabites. He's going to send locusts. So when God gets pissed at somebody, he sends locusts. Who the frig in Madagascar pissed God off? There's the person right there they need to get rid of. That will take a year off that locust swarm right then and there. It won't be 10 years, it'll be 9 years. And then, why doesn't Madagascar try to make some money off of this? I'm thinking they can. Think about it. Right? In the movies. What do they do when there's a plague to alleviate the gods so there's no plague? They sacrifice a virgin. They sacrifice a virgin. So, hell, Hugh Hefner, get your butt down to Madagascar, find yourself a virgin, and not only are you going to sacrifice her, but you're going to throw a party. It's going to be the Sacrifice the Virgin party. It's great for tourism. Locust swarm. We're going to appease the gods. We're going to sacrifice a virgin. Start your bets. Betting online right now. Get yourself in the orgy. I'm sure you're going to get a couple million out of that. Be good for your economy right there, Madagascar. And then, here's another one for you, Madagascar. Disney's got the movie series, Madagascar. Right? How about Madagascar 4? Revenge of the Locusts. Yeah? Huh? Right there. Them cute little furry animals running around the screen fighting locusts. You'll make them hit right there. Sell the rights, man. Speaking of things you can't get rid of, like I needed to make this transition. India. Anybody knows what's going on in India? I know the Indians do. India. They had Maoist rebels in their northern provinces near China for some reason. The Maoists are near China. I don't know the logic behind that, but apparently it works. 10 of the Maoist leaders ended up dead in a ditch. The Indian government is celebrating. These were 10 of the worst guys. We didn't do it. Wasn't our people. But they're celebrating. You know, these 10 bad guys, the bad dudes, they're raping, pillaging villages. They'd be dead. Time to celebrate, right? Except the Indian government didn't kill them. The local people didn't kill him. Surprising, I know, but when you have a bunch of people with guns and a bunch of people who don't have guns, the bunch of people who don't have guns don't generally try to kill the bunch of people who do have guns. That'd be pretty bad for that. So 10 guys, all leaders, they were all high monkey mucks. You know, they had the medals, they had the bandanas, they had tattoos of their ass. There's no fucking God. 10 Maoist rebels ended up dead. They're leaders. And I'm starting to think to myself, I'm watching this on the news, I'm going, fuck. We all know what happened. India just doesn't want to admit it. Instead of admitting what happened, they want to have a celebration. More power to them. You know, I'd celebrate too. 10 guys who are raping and killing and pillaging my people, I'd be celebrating. But I'd also be looking out, because I watch all the movies. I've seen all the old movies. I know what this means. This means some asshole's in charge now. It does. Watch the old movies. You'll see him. You'll see the gangster. He'll line everybody up and he'll go, "You're with me or against me?" They're like, "Yeah, we're against you." Boom, 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 boom. "You guys, you with me or against you?" "Yeah, we're with you, man." "Suck it to the man." They usually got a good suit on when they're doing it too. You notice how they always have to be in that good suit? We're talking more clothes than freaking the president wears. That type of suit. Speaking of things that are funny, Christchurch, New Zealand. Now, you know that if it's got church in the name, it's already about Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, people, you had to double it up. Yeah, we got a church here. Yeah, it's dedicated to Jesus Christ. We're just going to call it Christchurch. Christchurch, New Zealand. Some bold bastard who plays cricket by the name of Ryder. I'm guessing he's pretty hot since he made the news of the week. They put this guy in the hospital. Now, they did the smart thing. As my cousin Tony would say, "You're going to put some man in the hospital? He's going to put some man in the hospital? Make it look like a friggin' mugging. No one's going to look after you. It's a freaking mugging." That's right. Guy was mugged outside a nightclub. How convenient. Now, Christchurch had all that crime. They make New Zealand out to look good, right? New Zealand has a very low crime rate. It's about the first or second lowest crime rate in the world, after Iceland. Iceland's usually the lowest. It's also pretty low on shootings. And this guy wasn't shot, strangely enough. At least it wasn't in the news if he was. But the guy was in the hospital. And all I can say out there is, how bad do you want to win a cricket game that you got to put a guy in a hospital? We all know the Australians did it. They're close by. Their cricket team ain't doing so well this year. They're low in the standings. So we know it was the Aussies looking for a way to try to get it back. I mean, I'm a hockey fan. I will admit, I'm a hockey fan. I love to watch the Canadians play. Damn French-speaking guys, always out there causing a fight. I love hockey. Hockey, in a way, is kind of exciting. Yes, you see these guys and they're going back and forth on the ice, and every once in a while they'll pick a fight with the other guy. When a hockey team starts losing, you'll see them pick fights with just about anybody who's going to throw a punch. It's true. It's true. You're down 4-0 in the third period, 5 minutes to go. Just pick on the guys. Get them all kicked out of the game. Try to win it that way. Right? That's hockey for you. So if you're going to be a sports team, if you're going to be on cricket, beat the guy up on the field. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Don't do it outside a nightclub. Now, the New Zealand police, rightly so, are saying they don't know who's behind it. Like, how many motives is there to beat up a guy who plays cricket? North Korea is in the news. They're mock pissed. See, the United States is running war games with South Korea. They threatened to nuke us all. You know, what is it about a country, a small country like that, like North Korea? It's a blip on the freaking map, and you're going to pick a fight with the United States? Look, let me do the math for you, Kim Jong-un. Your country, small, like a little tiny folding chair, right? And kick the damn chair over. United States, huge. Yeah, you're going to hit one or two targets, but there's probably 10, 20 nuclear missiles aimed straight at you. Do the math. You ain't going to make it, boy. Hey, you ain't going to make it. Trying to pick a fight with South Korea, I understand. South Korea's small folding chair. You a small folding chair? It's who, it's like that wrestling match. You get the two midgets in the match, you give them both folding chairs, and you see which one's going to come out on top. But you're trying to pick a fight with the United States. That's like a midget going up against the big show there. You ain't gonna make it. North Korea, they've threatened a few things, and you gotta wonder, at what point do you stop reading the Book of Revelation? Because apparently that's all Kim Jong-un reads, right? He told Washington, D.C., if you get in my way, I will, quote, turn you into a sea of fire. Sea of fire from the Book of Revelation. I'm like, dude, quoting the Book of Revelations went out of style in the late 90s. And we all know what happened to those people. They weren't smoking pot. They were putting bags over their heads and killing themselves. Like, you got to get new material, man. You got to dig deep. Dig deep in there. Or do the smart thing and tell everyone you're the ninth Imam returned. You're reincarnated, man. Something. Yeah, I mean, you got to go new, man. Not do all this Revelation shit. You got the guy on the TV, though. You got to love this. There's a guy on the TV that tries to tell you what everything in the United States is according to prophecy. And, it's strange. It's like Obama got elected. He linked it to prophecy. The Democrats lost gun control. He links it to prophecy. Yeah. Guns weren't even invented in the first century, but apparently John the Insane, or whatever the guy's name is, he foresaw it. He foresaw it. There's a war brewing between Turkey and Iran. That's in the Bible. Look it up. It's in there. The guy will tell you it's in the Bible. So you got all of these people running around telling you what prophecy is supposed to be. It's like they got the newspaper in this hand, they got the Bible in this hand, and they're sitting in a bunker somewhere saying, yep, the Russians are going to bomb us any day now. What is it? What is it with prophecy? Why are people drawn to prophecy? I mean, in the old days, you read prophecy because when it happened, you're like, oh, God, thank God that's over with. God wouldn't want to live through that again. In the Book of Revelations, it's like such a cryptic book, right? The whore went down to Babylon and she laid with a few people and the dragon starts chasing after her and oh my God, it's full of all kinds of great images for a porn director. Yes, me, that guy, that St. John the Insane or whatever his name is, he wasn't looking at it to your right. He was divine and something, all right. When you get down to it, there's only three things that's really worth talking about. And it's the three things people tell you not to talk about. One's the weather. Right around here, that's a dangerous talk. You walk outside, you go, think it's gonna snow. You're gonna have 5 people beat the crap out of you. It's like you use the N word, the S word, the D word, the C word, the other C word, the B word, all in the same sentence. You go to New York, you say, oh, cloudy day, thinking it might rain. Man, we've done, who hasn't done that? Who hasn't done that? Or you go to Florida and you go, oh, wow, it's a sunny day. It was a sunny day yesterday. Freaking the weather would look great if it wasn't so hot and humid. And do it like that too, because let's face it, everyone does it like that. It's like that rabbi down in Los Angeles is always talking on the radio. Yes, I think you all are just mightily guilty. You're just a mightily guilty. It's great. California, it's the same way. You go outside and you're like, huh, this again. So the weather, one thing everyone always talks about. It's always a heated discussion. People like the weather. They don't like the weather. Don't talk about the weather. Don't complain about the weather. Complain about the weather. I mean, that's in Maine, that's like the number one thing. Everybody complains about the weather. Walk outside. Oh, it's snowing again. Don't say that. I'm tired of the snow. My favorite one. Man, these hot and humid days really remind you how great the snow is. Oh, and you'll get it too. You'll get the one old lady. She's like freaking 90. Lived there all. She's never gotten out of the house except for the day that you go down to the store and she's there. And she says, don't remind me about the snow. Makes me wish I could live in Florida. Well, why don't you? Because I can't stand the hot and humid days. Right? Right? Nobody's happy about the weather. They never are. It's never like, woo, doggy. Woo-wee. It's hot, it's humid, it's August, shake the booty. Weather's changing around here now, anyhow. So you got your really cold days, you got your semi-cold days, and you got your days that are kind of half nice, and they're kind of like, stocky vying between the two, till it hits about May. May is when you get that one stretch of weather that goes from super cold to super warm. That's it. That's it. After it hits that super warm, it don't cool down. You're stuck that way for 3 months. Live with it. Speaking of politics and ladies, I knew there was going to be a transition. United States versus Windsor. I'm tired of you people. Both sides. Shut the hell up. Yes, it was a case that happened this week. Yes, it's news. Yes. The litigant was a lesbian. I'm good. Whoever you want to sleep with, it's none of my business. As long as you pay your fair share. You can be married. I don't got a problem with that. Just pay your fair share. Pay for your marriage license. Pay the taxes. Pay the guy to marry you. It's all good. I don't care if you're married or not married. If you're married, you better be paying like every one of those other persons. But say, here's the thing. Edith Windsor, she was married, right? And her spouse dies. The taxman comes to collect, and he wants his money. Our country's going broke. She should be happy to pay her fair share. She'd be happy to pay her fair share. Okay? Taxman comes along. Aren't you Democrats? Isn't that what the Democrats always say? We did it earlier. Pay thy fair share. It's Democrat rule number one nowadays. You don't think in 2014 people are going to be pushing that phrase out of their butts? Pay thy fair share. And I'm going to be saying, You didn't ask Edith Windsor to pay her fair share. You wanted to get her out of it. Obama wanted to get her out of it. Woman owed 300 some $1,000. He doesn't even fight it in the courts. He's like, well, we'll let it pass. I'm like, are you kidding me? You kidding me? Let that pass. Country's always going broke. And $300,000, that ain't chump change. She's inheriting more than that. You're always asking these millionaires to pay their fair share. But because she's a lesbian, you're going to give her a pass? Who else are we going to give a pass to? Huh? At the end of the day. When the tax man comes, who else do we give a pass to? God, missed the boat on that one. And everyone's behind her. I'm behind her. I hope she wins the case. Stick it to the man. That's what I say. If I can get out pay my taxes, I would too. I would too. $300 some $1,000. You know she paid her lawyers more than $300 some $1,000. Fight all the way. They get a good chunk of change out of that return there. My man. Well, I got to thank my friend Roger D for this one. This one had me laughing all night. In fact, it had me laughing so much last night, I was trying to not laugh tonight while I'm bringing it to you. It's something that happened last week. I'm sorry. I missed him. I know. It's a case in a London court. London, in the United Kingdom. You know, way over the ocean. Over there. Over there. So, in London, the court stated, and I quote, that the London Transportation Authorities exercised sound judgment in not letting a political ad run upon its buses. In a corollary judgment, they basically chastised the London Authority for doing the same thing. Right? Now you gotta wonder, what did London do that was so, well, I believe you British people, you use the word bloody shameful. There was a group that ran ads on the buses saying, we're gay, get over it, right? So there was, of course, going to be a retaliation ad that was going to come out. Everybody knew it, and they did. They paid for it. They did their ad, and they were looking for ex-gays. And the first thing that I thought to myself was, ex-gays. Man, there's a comic book series for Stan Lee right there, right? Ex-gays. They could fight some guy from outer space going, man, your cape do not match your shoes. But, okay, the ex-gays, right? They're looking for ex-gays. They're ex-gays, former gays, not gays. Get over it. I'm thinking to myself, you guys did the wrong thing. You did. You guys did the wrong thing. Retaliation ad like that. People can't take you seriously. Man, out here in America, nobody would get away with that. They wasn't looking for ex-gays. What's next? Looking for ex-Jack the Rippers? Ex-stalkers? Now, see, if you want to run an ad, you got to do it like us people in the United States do it. And that is, hey, if you're gay, God gonna strike you dead, send you straight to hell. Had a guy called the Shark. The Shark. Where do you guys come up with your email names? Are you a shark? I don't think you're a shark. I'm pretty sure you're a human being. Got a guy called the Shark. He says, you need a better background. You don't like my background? Man, that baby's white. I stand out like a sore thumb. You need a better background. You're not going to make any money doing it the way you are. Well, Shark, you know what? You're right. You're right. I do need a better background. I do need better cameras. I ain't the greatest camera in the world, I'll give you that. But you know the only way that's going to happen is if I get cast on the Dragon's Den show. That's right, Dragon's Den. You know, CBC, 5 people. Y'all got to get up there and sell them on the idea. And let's face it, the only guy who's going to give me money is Kevin O'Leary, because I'm going to be making him money afterwards. But goddamn, man, I like the Kevin O'Leary guy. I do. He's got his own TV production thing. He's got his own hedge fund. He's got a stack of bills right there, and he has an attitude. And you don't need an attitude in TV. I tell you what, right now, I'm too nice. People say, well, why aren't you in TV? I'll tell you the truth. I'm too freaking nice. And if I treat people like I do the news, people wouldn't even talk to me. They'd be like, I don't want to talk to you. Talk to the hand, man. You're too rough. I'm way too nice. I'm way too nice. I'm reading your email when you're snarking on me. Well, that's nice. So, Mr. Shark, if you know Kevin O'Leary, call him up. Tell him to get me on the show. Oh, I guarantee, I'm starting to tell you, I'm going to be doing some business there. We got to call someone called Madam J. Madam J. And I got a sneaky suspicion who Madam J is from her question. She says, why are you so hard on your ex-wife? All right, news for you, Madam J. Have you ever watched Comedy Central? I'm serious. Have you watched Comedy Central? Have you watched Annie's Evening at the Improv? Which is probably all reruns at this point. Tonight Show. Man, ex-wives are out there. They're a target. They're worse than the mother-in-law. Because at least some people get along with their mother-in-law. Ain't no one get along with an ex-wife. Ex-wives are the bane. That's why they're exes. See, they got the X in front of their name. They did something's wrong. They're the ex-wife. I don't want to talk to that bitch. So you want to get pissy at me for talking about ex-wives? I got news for you. Everyone who ever been married doing a comedy show talks about their ex. They've been divorced. They're certainly talking about their ex. There's a lot of money to be made making fun of your ex. So, of course, that's what I do. You act like there's something wrong with it. Man, if you can't laugh about it, don't think about it. My ex-wife gives me plenty to laugh about. A couple weeks ago, she was pissing on her Facebook. She took a photograph of me. She came up to where I live, which is no small distance, let me tell you. She comes up to where I live. She snaps a photograph of me, puts it up on her Facebook, and she says, say he's on welfare. He's smoking a cigar. I did this on one of the News of the Weeks in the past. And I'm like, you know, it might just be me, but I thought she had a lot more brains when I was married to her. Smoking on a cigar. Since when could poor people afford cigars? That was my question. But having thought about it, now I get it. Because she's sitting down there, she's smoking the wacky tobacco, and it comes to her for free, because it grow everywhere. I'm pretty sure she's one of those dumb people pay for it, because she don't know where to look. But she's sitting down there, she's smoking the wacky tobacco, and it ain't cheap when you buying it. She wants it legal so she can smoke it legal and get it cheap. I'm pretty sure she's not going to be able to afford it if it is cheap. So let's be honest. That's what she's doing. That's what she's doing. Sitting down there smoking the wacky tobacco, and I'm sitting up here and I'm going, ha 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 ha. I got you. I can afford to smoke them cigars. It's nice. It's honestly, it's real nice. So, Madam J, that's my answer to you. Everyone crap on the ex-wife. I got a Gerard Wienerland. Wienermobile. Hey, Wiener. Wienerland. Weenland. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Probably don't matter because he's a snarky little boy too. He said, "I don't believe your YouTube thing gets as many viewers as it does." You know, Gerard, I got a little thing to share with you. I don't believe it either. Not so much that I'm getting viewers because I put her out there. I put it out there. People can watch it. They can't watch it, right? It's public. It's not like it's private. It's not like I'm restricting people from watching it. But what shocked me was this. I expect to get people from the United States watching it. I even expect to get people from here in Canada watching it. Occasionally from the UK and Australia, because they civilized places, right? Everybody's got access to the YouTube. But the places I'm getting the most views, that absolutely shocks me. I'm actually getting more views sometimes from those places than the ones I name. Are places like Bolivia. Oh, I thought Bolivia, everything was like cut off. I thought it was like third world, man. It's Bolivia. Bolivia. Malaysia. We got a freaking war going on there. I'm a freaking Muslim. I'm not with the popularity there. And yet Malaysia's watching this. I'm like, cool. I love it. Malaysia. Man. And then the country, I can't even pronounce the name. I'm not going to try. Someplace in Africa, Guinea-Iraq, something like that. I'm like, I got Africans watching this. So Mr. Gerard, when all is said and done, there'll be a lot of people in the world. And if you don't like it, no one forces you to watch it. Well, you're going to want to be a snarky person. I'm going to point it out. I am, because I'm that type of person. I'm going to be the bigger man, and I'm going to say, welcome all you new people. Then we got a Gene Morton. This is one of the first ones that I was really not sure. Why would somebody have an email account with their name? But Gene, G-E-A-N, Gene Morton, says, I thought you wrote sci-fi. Well, somebody pays attention to the YouTube now, don't ya? I have an entire sci-fi account. Mostly on Ninth Space Calvary, which this is posted on. So, if I knew how to throw a link downstairs that you could link over to those ones, they're not as funny as these, I'll be honest with you. They're funny, but they ain't as fun as these. Ninth Space Calvary, I'm trying to sell it. You know, producer? Mr. Gene Morton, put it out there. I'd love to be on TV doing that shit. And I am a writer. Which is one of the reasons why when I see the news, I try to think of the funniest lines I can put on there. Spin it. They talk about spinning all the time down in D.C. Not spending, they talk about that too. But spinning, put a span on it, right? So yes, I am a writer. And finally, ZLP. ZLP wants to know, do I think the Canadians will go all the way? Yes, Zach, I do. Ooh, that was you. Smile, boy. Smile. Yes, I think the Canadians will go all the way. They're doing pretty good. They'd have to just might about suck not to make the playoffs. So, they're in a good point. Like to see maybe, Canadians, Bruins tackling out as, the final for Eastern. Canadians, Calgary, that would be a great matchup for, not going to happen. I think Calgary's out. Well, that wouldn't be a bad matchup. Don't you guys agree? Okay, Canadians would like it. It'd be like, we're guaranteed the cup. I don't know, Calgary. I think they're out. I think the Blues are kind of out at this point. Kings are getting there. So, I don't know. Whole West could blow up these last couple of weeks. We got till the end of April. Ask me, ZLP in the email. Ask me at the end of April what I think, and I'll tell you. As far as the March Madness thing, there's only one thing I can tell you about March Madness. We're going to end on this note. We got 16 teams left. I don't know what any of them are, nor do I care. I'm not a basketball fan. I think it's one of the worst sports out of like the top 5. I can think of worse sports out there. I can think of things that shouldn't even be sports and they're called sports. But basketball, we've wasted all this time on, getting down to 16 teams. And people are bitchy because they're not the top teams. Somebody gets the top teams out. You got shit teams. So what? That's life, man. That's life. Would you really want it rigged like that? Well, I know some of the people in, Kansas or Kentucky would be like, yeah, we'd like it rigged for our team. You know how much money it's going to cost you to get it rigged for your team? Think about it. Think about it. If we rig sports, the way the mob does, that costs money. Teams would have to pay money. They'd have to bribe some guy to be on the top. They wouldn't have the good players. There'd be no competitiveness to get good players. They'd bribe some guy and he'd give them, crappy McGee. If you're a good team, you can win with crappy McGee. Turn him into a star. It would be like reality TV. So, let's be honest. Crap all you want. Complain all you want. You Kentucky, your team ain't there. Boo frickin' who for you. If you're not Kentucky, if you're one of these small teams, your team there, congratulations. You did it the American way. You didn't do it the WWE way. Let's be honest. You want to talk about a sport that's rigged, wrestling, right? All the Southern boys, we watch the wrestling. And it's rigged. I can tell you it's rigged. Because the guy who should be winning doesn't. He always gets knocked over the head with a chair by some loser who's not even in the match. That should be like instant disqualification for the other guy. So we know it's rigged. Would you want your March Madness basketball to be just another WWE show? I mean, kudos to Vince McMahon. He makes millions on the things, right? I'm sure he'd have no problem rigging your March Madness. Vince McMahon. Get his wife to do it, man. She can't win Congress. You can rig herself a wrestling match, but she can't win herself a congressional seat no matter how hard she tries. Get her to do it, man. She's doing nothing right now. She can take care of March Madness. Well, that's the news of the week for this week, folks. Now, I've got things working on the works right now, and I'm telling you, it's going to be neat next week. It is. You're going to have to watch, because I ain't going to do like the other news shows. I ain't going to say tune in to the next show where I'm going to talk to you about this. But I'm going to say, it's going to be neat. It's going to be awesome. This was a slow news week. And news next week, if you have a slow news week, the next week's totally awesome. It is. It's totally awesome. So tune in next week. Who knows what we're going to talk about. But I'm telling you, it's going to be as funny as it was this week. It's not funny.